our last insight presentation for today. It's on a very, very interesting topic of so many reasons. And it's one of those things which is really hard, easy to say and really hard to do. It's about turning products into services, really. And we have been reading and talking about that for ages. I have a couple of guys here who actually have done that a lot, hands-on themselves, who can share, and who are nice enough to share a lot of their experience about that. So Anders and Per, and I think we also have Peter, was it? No, we couldn't. That's fine. No worries. We don't have anyone there to talk. Please.
Thank you very much. For the guys on the.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay. Good, very good. And here's the, and I need to do. Yeah. So we're going to talk about products as a service and the NewCore business insights here. And who are we? First of all, you, Per. Maybe you can mention a couple of words about yourself.
I've been working as an entrepreneur in the Volvo Group for almost 3 decades, and then focusing actually on the transformation from product to services. And then started a lot of companies, and I'm actually now an advisor in this area.
Yes, and then we should have had Peter with us here today, but he had some technical problems. But he's also vast experience in the area and started up a company that's actually working with robots as a service, and he's also part of NewCore. And myself, I've been working in the industry, in the manufacturing industry for 20 plus years. The last 5 plus years in digital transformation and towards supporting servitization. And except us here, we have also a larger team. And our mission is to develop or create and build sustainable business models and circular business models through digital transformation. And I think you are recognizing this business model. We produce something, we ship it away. We hope that the customer uses it for a while, and then they scrap it. And in the best of worlds, they recycle it. We would like to support our customers to reduce the environmental impact. And instead of just shipping away and eventually scrap it, we would like them to close the economic loops here. And this we want to do towards moving moving parallel a bit here as well. You see this picture here, more service-oriented, service-oriented business model, and that's our mission. And this we have been doing for years, and now we're just being more sharp about what we're actually doing. So now you can turn yourself here into the picture again. So.
Okay, yeah. So take a look at an example then of this transformation. We take a pump. So product companies today are focusing on actually going from selling products to selling services, and that's been going on for quite some time. And usually you start with just adding maintenance. And you sell your product and you sell your services in parallel, more or less. But the next step now is to move into more or less selling pump as a service, when you package your services and product together. And in some cases, you more or less work towards the outcome to actually provide the water in this case. There's 2 areas that you need to focus extra on in this transformation. And that is, first of all, the insight. The further you go into services, the closer you get to customers, the more insight do you need to know about your customer's business and its operational business. And the further you go, also you need even more about the performance of your product, because when you're just selling a product, it's a little bit the customer's problem to actually be the one contacting you when you get a problem. So actually, it's a handover from the customer to the supplier moving into this journey. The other area is the ecosystem. You have one ecosystem when you sell a product, and the more services that you add on, the more responsibility you take over from the customer, the more support you need in your ecosystem. And Things here is a perfect matchmaking platform actually to find those partners that you can partner up with.
Yes. And it's not only about the ecosystem, it's also that you will also comparing profitability. We also see that the products and the services is really different. There's a substantial difference between EBIT margins. And looking at this is just one report, but my own experience when I worked in Atlas Copco, it was substantially higher margins in the services part. As a whole, of course, you can always look at this from different angles. It also creates a resilience for your business. And at the end, of course, you will get a better valuation of your company if you have more recurring revenues. And now I'm going to present, going into the case part here. I mean, this is, this was the sales talk. So now hopefully you are bought into that. This is something that is important for the business. If you're producing something, manufacturing something, you ship it away. One of the cases that we would like to present here is robot as a service. And as mentioned, Peter, who is the founder of this company, also now joining NewCore, he had some technical problems and getting into the meeting. So I will take this case. So the first step in this journey was, how did Peter get started? That's why I'm telling this in this form here. He did a lot of interviews and deep dives and to see, okay, what was the actual value that he wanted to provide. He could, start selling lawnmowers or starting any product, but he wanted to go into more resilient business model. So he looked at, okay, what kind of value can he present, and design that. And then the two most important things from his insight was, okay, finding the most important benefits for the client in this area that he wanted to service in. And are the willingness to pay? Do they really want to pay for this? And how much are they willing to pay for this? I think those are the two. I mean, it's kind of straightforward, but sometimes the simplicity is important. Then looking at internal benefits here, long-term and recurring revenues. He went into seasonal business. I mean, the whole. If you look at robot, this was Husqvarna robots. If you know Husqvarna, it's a seasonal business, especially on the garden business. How can you actually remove that by implementing a more recurring revenue model? And then he could also start planning better in this. So those were also key insights for him, at least. And the customer benefits, of course, peace of mind. I mean, you don't have to care about this. You don't have to invest in this. And everything's included, so you don't have to think about it either from that perspective. And he's been going on in this company. He's not running it anymore himself, but it's a blooming company. But this is the case that is mainly on the top of the water level. If you look at this as an iceberg, the whole business model that makes this happen. He's working up here, making sure serving the client, having the product, having the infrastructure that he needs to have in order to do this. There is something below this surface as well, which is also important. This is another case that is related to the actual robots here, which I've been part of, where the internal capability to deliver customer experience is need to be developed. Looking from the top here, again, trying to click here. Let's see, works. Yeah. Looking from the top here, you have the services. I mean, imagine you have a Peter's business model here, a Robotel business model up here. You might not have so fancy models. You may not go to the water as a service directly. You may want a package service to begin with, but still, you need to have the things need to work up here. What we did in this case here, the core thing that we need to do here was to create what we call a digital twin with traceability. And I think you heard about digital twin, but in this case, digital twin is about the digital twin of a physical individual. It's not the fancy of simulating when you develop the product. It's actually digital twin of the physical individual of one robot lawnmower, for example. Creating flows from existing business systems through a cloud platform up to the services was key here in order to scale this. Because imagine if you have 30 factories and 10 R&D centers and changes in manufacturing, how this could fail if you don't know exactly how these robots are built, for example. So the key learnings here is, have control over data and create a digital twin, and also focus on the use case that you want to solve, because you can use the digital twin for a lot of different things: sustainability, recalls, services, etc. So focus on a specific use case when you start this journey, because you can't do this in the whole company at the same time. And then you roll it out, of course. And just to give you a little bit of an example, can this really fail in real life? This is my computer. I bought it 1 year ago with a great service concept. It was not circular, but everything is included. I can call up and they just stand outside the door like 5 minutes later, more or less. It's a super good service agreement. When I bought it, I got it with German keyboard. So I'm not German. You can see that, or you can hear that from my accent. And when after 1 year, first of all, I needed to send it away to their service center to replace it. I actually paid for that. So because it was my fault, eventually they said. But then after 1 year, I needed to replace the keyboard because it was malfunctioning. Service guy came out. Yeah, I called them, and not 5 minutes, but the day after they came out, and they gave me my new keyboard. They thought and said, "Hey, here's your new keyboard. I'm gonna assemble it now." Hands up, how many do you think they came with a Swedish keyboard? Hands up. No. So they need to speaking of cost to serve here, remember Peter's case here? I mean, for him to be able to serve this in a good way, he need to do this efficiently, right? Otherwise, he'll not make money on the services. So that's one trip. So they need to go back, and then they came again with a Swedish keyboard. How many do you think? Do you think it fit to my computer? No. So apparently they have different versions, changes in manufacturing. So they don't even have control over how the computers are built in manufacturing. So we talk about Lenovo now. They're one of the largest computer manufacturers in the world. And a lot of companies have these issues. I mean, if you're going to travel 100 kilometers to service your products and you have the wrong part, and if you have then sold a service agreement or a recurring or like a circular business model on that, I mean, your business is not going to make money. So this is the key here. I mean, and this is the poor guy trying to. This is the first time he realized this is not fitting. This is my home office actually. But it's not only about IT and digital twins. It's also about change, because we see in our programs 80% of the work we do, the hours we charge to the clients, it's sustainable transformation. It's change management, people and change, organization and change. And two things. Remember this. It starts at the top. You can, of course, get commitment, sign off, etc., with the sponsors and management. But if you don't have the full commitment, you will spend too much time on your life on the waste, because eventually it will not fly. The second part is behavior change in all levels: sales, R&D, manufacturing. It's a holistic approach. You need to find where you need to change the behavior in order to create the holistic view here. So Per, you want to talk a little bit about this transformation here.
Yes. Talking about change, and Tim from to in parallel with driving the new innovation is to drive the business transformation. If you look at this picture here, usually new technology are usually driven in projects. You have a roadmap and you develop your features. But what's surprisingly forgotten in many companies, and I would say it's more common than uncommon when I go to product companies today, is that they don't prioritize the business transformation. And business transformation is about, how are we going to sell this? Do we have the right sales channel? And if you look at moving from product to services, surprisingly, more or less all functions in a product company needs to be adjusted. And if you don't have a plan for that, that will not happen. And if this doesn't happen, you will not get the value. And actually, sales channel is one of the most important part in the journey of going from product to services. And I usually say that 1 out of 5 product sales can become service or solution sales. So that takes us into having the right setup you when you go from around. There we go. Oh, yeah. So you have a number of options when you go on to actually move into your business transformation, and that is to have the right setup. And you can start saying, okay, let's adapt the existing structure. I like creating a little bit of a smaller team, like a co-locate people that have the right mindset. Might work in the beginning. The second one is to create a new function, decouple a little bit, still in the same, I would say, structure of the company. But the third one, which I more or less, after 20 years of experience, is recommending if it's possible, because it's not a new company and create something, because it's such a different DNA, it's different culture that is required to actually to sell services, although the product is packaged into it. So this is important to bring in, and you need to think about this very early in your projects. You have the right setup, otherwise people will get tired. And I meet so many product companies that has driven into the ditch and just want support. How do we get away from the POC phase and industrialize this? But you have to have the right setup for actually doing that.
So finalizing here, I know running out of time. Let's see if I can get it to work. So what we do more or less is we help business models, and we do that through managing a holistic approach. You see the iceberg here from the top to the bottom with people, process, tools, and data. So we first go in. We do the whole sustainable transformation from A to Z, and we first go in with an assessment. We co-create a servitization strategy together with you. And then we go, depending on setup, we set up some kind of PMO, and then we start developing your platform for your new business model. So be it, you may not stretch you all the way in the beginning to product as a service, but all the way there. That's the target. So for you to, if you have more questions around this, we don't have time for that now, but. You can contact either us here on the stage here, via the email, via our website, or you can join our hackathon that we're going to have now during 2022, where we will invite companies like you, including, of course, ourselves with industrial knowledge, and also the academia from university into this hackathon, where you can also test your business models into this concept. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Anders. This is such an important topic, guys. Just so you know, if you didn't get that before.